Hey folks, what's going on with corporate Canada these days? Why are major companies turning a blind eye to anti-Semitism as certain unhinged staffers champion recognized terrorist groups while advocating for the genocide of the Jewish people and others? And the pattern is pretty much always the same. These companies, which range from Scotiabank and the Royal Bank to Air Canada and Allstate Insurance, well, they're all aware of the vile content, but inexplicably, they choose to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to it. That strategy works just fine until it doesn't. You see, when they are called upon the carpet to explain this harboring of haters, then they suddenly become a little more proactive and actually do something. Naturally, it is the independent media calling out these companies because the mainstream media is uninterested in reporting on this, maybe because so many in the mainstream media are Marxists and Islamists themselves. Which brings us to our latest example of a corporation mollycoddling terrorist supporters, namely Toronto-based Ernst & Young. And get this, with today's report, we have two haters for the price of one, courtesy of our friends at Leviathan. Let's start with the social media postings of Sidra Alam. She is a lawyer of Pakistani descent at Ernst & Young. She openly and gleefully posts vile rhetoric on social media. For starters, Alam is an open supporter of the mass murder of civilians that occurred in Israel on October 7th, 2023. She is also a cheerleader for the designated terror group Hamas. As well, Alam has stated the following: if you do not support the designated terrorist group Hamas, quote, you are a white supremacist, a colonizer, and you stand with genocide, end quote. Then, in contradiction, Alam states that Israel killed its own people on October 7th. Predictably, Alam apparently also wants Israel to cease to exist, which would of course mean the death of almost 10 million citizens. She wants Israelis and Zionists to, quote, never know a moment of peace, end quote. Then there's her colleague, Nicholas Daniel Gully. He's a manager of assurance service for Ernst & Young. He too is unhinged. Gully actually believes Canada should divert money to fund Hamas. He describes the terrorist group as, quote, the best of humanity, end quote. He also thinks the mass murderers who make up the rank and file of Hamas are heroic, despite the fact they were responsible for the largest mass murder of Jews since the Holocaust on October 7th, 23. Then again, Gully has the gall to downplay the October 7th massacre by denying that any rape occurred against Israeli women that day, and inexplicably claiming that Israel killed its own people. Gully further accuses Israelis of turning the Star of David into a swastika and being ideological descendants of the Nazis. Folks, I'm not making this up. Then this philanthropist offers some crackpot advice to the global diaspora of Jews, which is to say, if Jews want to end prejudice towards them, well, then they should, quote, stop killing children, end quote. It should be noted that Gully would appear to be a self-hating Canadian as well. Consider this statement, quote, my country and most of its people are lower than dirt, end quote. And it is for this reason that Gully wants to see the violent intifada globalized in Canada as, quote, we are a sick country of child murderers just like Israel, end quote. He also calls Canada, quote, the terrorist organization that teaches its children to hate Muslims and immigrants, end quote. Naturally, he offers no tangible examples of this. What an unhinged kook. We reached out to the Media Relations Department of Ernst & Young on multiple occasions. We wanted to know if the postings of those two staffers run contrary to the company's code of conduct. Guess what? We never even received an acknowledgement to our emails. And in the case of Cedra Lam, we also reached out to the Law Society of Ontario, since she is a lawyer. Alas, it was radio silence when it comes to the Law Society too. But now that we have exposed these cranks espousing genocide, I suspect the wheels just might be in motion right now, that these lovers of terrorism and mass murder might be getting ready for their exit interviews. Either that or the senior executives really don't have a problem with these pronouncements. Stay tuned. Folks, for more than 2.5 years now, we have seen disgusting behavior in the streets of our great Dominion. People supporting terrorist groups, people chanting for genocide. And a lot of these people, they're not even Canadian citizens. They're temporary foreign workers, they're international students. And if that's the case, you don't have the right to spew this garbage. So will you help us out here? Go to our petition, supporthamas.com. That's supporthamas.com. If you are a guest in our country and you are troublemaking and supporting terrorists and supporting genocide of selective people, you got to get to the airport and leave. Once again, folks, deporthamas.com.